Hey guys, Shama Maher here, CEO of Scaling Retail, and today I want to talk about the 5 ways you can elevate your perceived value. Now, perception is so important. It is incredibly important as a brand owner, either one who's starting up or scaling up, to revisit the way that your brand is being communicated through to your ideal customer. So when we think about your perceived value, what are all the ways in which that gets to be important? Well, number 1, guys, it really indicates to your consumers what type of price point they should be spending on your product. Because of course, if the visual assets don't look like they match with the price point, well, geez, they're probably not going to end up purchasing that product. So it becomes very, very important to make sure that you're actually targeting the right customer with the right product, the right advertising, the right images. And so perception is how we are able to do this. So let's unpack it a little bit further, shall we? Number 1, guys, the best way to make sure that your perceived value is on target is to evaluate your website. Your website is the eyes and ears to the soul of your brand. In fact, guys, without having a great website, one that's really thought out well, meaning the colors, the navigation, the user experience, the entire way of looking at the buttons and the, how the whole feel is. In fact, if you guys don't spend time thinking about that, your customer might come to your site and never actually get to see that amazing product that you've spent so much time building out. So guys, website is the number 1 thing you want to pay attention to, especially if your business has grown so far to date and you're wondering how to scale up. Well, taking a look at your website is certainly going to be one of the number 1 ways in which you guys are going to elevate your brand and really hone in on that perceived value. Now, number 2, images, images, images. Photography is so important, guys. And not just the photography that you use on your website, right? The photography that you use in your advertising. That's right, guys, all those Instagram ads, Facebook ads, the images that you're using on your line lists, the ones that you're using on your lookbook. Images go far beyond just using them on your website. So when you think about the images, I really want you to be thinking about, what is the photography that I'm using on my Instagram? What's the photography I'm using on my advertising campaigns? How often am I shooting? Is there an opportunity for me to actually increase the way my brand is being perceived by doing better, more professional photography? Now, the third thing that I think is so valuable and important is to really think about your copywriting. So how are you choosing to write about your brand or not write about your brand? Not only is the copywriting important on your website, but all of the assets by which you produce. In fact, guys, even the emails that you send to me occasionally is a form of branding. It actually helps me realize what kind of perceived value I should have on your brand is how you talk about it. So anytime you guys are leaving a voicemail, anytime you guys are shooting out an email, writing a pitch letter, sending out stuff to editors, to buyers, you are constantly using verbal branding, and people are constantly getting evaluations of how you are communicating. So if you're a startup brand, chances are you might be working on this on your own, or kind of building out organically what your brand stands for, how you're going to talk about it. But by the time you guys are ready to scale up, I certainly hope that you have a very strong brand voice, brand identity, how you communicate your brand, how you use it in advertising campaigns, and how you use it in your newsletter, right? Your newsletter is such a strong sense of your voice. Without having clear identification on how you're communicating, anyone can be writing your newsletter, right? I certainly feel that way about my newsletter, right? It has a certain tone, a certain feel. You know you're getting it from me. So think about your brand voice and your brand identity. Now, the fourth thing to think about when you want to look at your perceived value is to really look at the company that you keep. And by that, I mean the press that you're getting, the bloggers who are writing about you, and of course, any other outlet or influencer who chooses to talk about your brand. Now, when it comes to looking at press, you might be going, well, how am I going to get this press? Shouldn't I be happy to have anyone write about me? The answer is no. You really want to pick and choose the outlets that you get to be seen on. For me, it's important that I'm on places like Women's Wear Daily, Internet Retailer. It's important for me to be cited in places that I know that you guys, my clients and my audience, is going to as a strong reference point. Similarly, do you want to be featured in Reader's Digest, or do you want to be featured in InStyle or Vogue? Pick your battles wisely, right? It becomes really important to think about what those channels and those outlets are. And lastly, guys, and this one I actually think oftentimes gets overlooked, your perceived value is oftentimes seen through your packaging. And that means the packaging that you ship a product to a customer. That's everything from the postcard you've gotten there, to any handwritten notes, to the receipt. In fact, guys, if you've never seen really excellent done-up packaging, I suggest you purchase something from Matches one of these days. They're a huge UK e-commerce company, beautiful packaging. In fact, I don't necessarily suggest you do their upscale packaging all the time, though it's not very environmentally friendly. But you'll really see the way a very reputable brand does high-end luxury packaging. Customized boxes, beautiful tissue paper, a sticker that goes with it. You know, these little types of touches do so much to solidify the branding. Now, if you're thinking about your own branding reflexively and you don't have the budget to do something so big, think about the little tiny touches and details that are really going to bring your imagery together. They're going to solidify your copywriting. They're actually going to have directions and, you know, lots of calls to action to come visit your website, right? So that's important as well. And when we think about the different opportunities you have to really drive home packaging, it isn't just to that e-commerce company, guys. It's every time you send out a sample, every time you're sending your products out for a press poll, anything like that, when you have buyers coming to view the collection, are you using branded hangers? All of those things really compile the total cohesive packaging identity. All right, guys, good luck. Have fun with building out your brands. Remember that we always talk about up-leveling perception. There's also really just the basic fundamental idea that your perceived value simply just needs to be commensurate with your target ideal audience. You don't necessarily need to constantly be thinking about how do I make this advanced contemporary, or how do I make this more luxury? It's really just about knowing who your target customer is and providing them an experience that is on par and supersedes their expectations for that kind of product. And guys, let me just remind you, there's a lot of money to be made in lower level and entry level price points, right? Those products are also amazing for scale as well. Okay. Hope you join me on the blog, .scalingretail.com. Lots of goodies there for you guys always. Come find me on Instagram, come find me on Facebook, and always feel free to shoot us an email at hello@scalingretail.com. Talk to you soon. Bye.